Shrinks my liver, doesn't it, Nat? It pickles my kidneys, yes. But what does it do to my mind?
20 famous Hollywood addicts you'd never recognize today. Behind the scenes, Hollywood's fame can turn into a nightmare. Meet 20 stars who faced the grim reality of addiction. Their shocking stories of struggle and redemption will make you see them in a whole new light. Don't miss this reveal. Number 20, Leonard Nimoy, alcohol. Did you know that Leonard Nimoy, our beloved Spock from Star Trek, battled with alcoholism? It's true. Behind the scenes, Nimoy's life was far from the rational, logical world of Vulcan. The relentlessly rational and timelessly iconic alien from Vulcan may have mastered his body and mind in the sci-fi classic Star Trek, but the actor portraying him actually struggled with alcoholism for years. It's true. Leonard Nimoy himself was a slave to addiction at one point in his life. According to fellow actors, Nimoy would finish each taping with a ritualistic drink. Eventually, the problem spiraled out of control, and the famous actor would resort to drinking covertly during the actual filming. Just like so many other celebrity drug addicts, Nimoy put some of the blame on the pressure of the spotlight and fame. Added to that, a troubled marriage made turning over his will to the bottle that much more enticing. Luckily, Nimoy recognized one of the many hard truths of alcoholism, that it can often be deadly. Before it was too late, he sought professional help. He kicked his addiction in 1987, fell in love with his second wife, and lived long and prospered without the help of alcohol.
Do you have to arrive here earlier than the rest of the crew to get into your makeup?
Somewhat, yeah. I'm here usually about 6:30 in the morning. We actually start shooting at 8. The crew arrives around 7:30. It takes me about an hour and a half to get into the rig.
Number 19, Judy Garland, amphetamines and barbiturates. Imagine the beloved Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz struggling with addiction. Judy Garland's life behind the curtain was a heartbreaking battle against amphetamines and barbiturates. Celebrity substance abuse has been around for a long time. Singer, actress, vaudevillian, and international star extraordinaire Judy Garland sadly passed due to a drug overdose in 1969. Constantly struggling with problems involving self-image, the patriarchy of Hollywood, and the rampant sexism that was so common, Garland took amphetamines to control her weight and used barbiturates to calm her down afterward. The most troubling part of Garland's experience is that this blatant substance abuse appears to be built into the movie-making institution of the time. Garland told biographer Richard A. Lertzman that studio executives would use the drugs to squeeze as much work out of her as possible. They had us, Judy and Mickey Rooney, working days and nights on end, she said. They'd give us pills to keep us on our feet long after we were exhausted. Then they'd take us to the studio hospital and knock us out with sleeping pills. Then, after 4 hours, they'd wake us up and give us the pep pills again so we could work 72 hours in a row. Unfortunately, this callous abuse led to Garland developing a serious addiction to these prescription meds. And at the young age of just 47, Garland fatally overdosed on barbiturates. She goes down in history as one of Hollywood's most emblematic stars, as well as one of its greatest tragedies.
First of all, Miss Garland, a very warm welcome back to London.
Thank you very much, Trevor. It's nice to be here.
I believe you had a bit of a job landing, didn't you?
Well, the fog closed in around the airport. It wasn't anyone's fault. We wound up in Manchester, and I've been there before. It's a nice town. And it's the last time I'm back in London. That's important.
Number 18, Scotty Becket, alcohol and barbiturates. Remember the adorable child star from Our Gang? Scotty Becket's story took a dark turn as he grew up, battling alcohol and barbiturates addiction. Scotty Becket was a notable child actor whose career thrived throughout the 1930s and 1940s. He began acting at the tender age of 3, quickly captivating audiences with his charm and talent. Beckett's career included memorable roles in films like Our Gang and The Jolson Story. His youthful exuberance and on-screen charisma made him a beloved figure in Hollywood. However, as he transitioned into adulthood, Becket faced numerous personal challenges. His life became increasingly troubled, marked by legal issues and struggles with substance abuse. Despite attempts to revive his career, he never recaptured the success of his early years. Tragically, Scotty Becket's life came to a premature end at the age of 38. In 1968, he was found dead under circumstances suggesting a possible overdose of barbiturates or alcohol. Although the exact cause of death remains undetermined, his passing underscores the harsh realities many child actors face as they grow older. Becket's story is a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of fame and the personal battles that often accompany it.
What a glow to know that she is mine. Ain't she divine? Beautiful to look at.
Number 17, Pierre Angeli, barbiturates. Pierre Angeli's dazzling career and beauty couldn't shield her from the grip of addiction. Her tragic death at 39 from a barbiturate overdose shocked the world. Anna Maria Pierre Angeli, known internationally by the stage name Pierre Angeli, was an Italian actress, model, and singer. Pierre Angeli was an Italian actress who died from a barbiturate overdose. In the early 1970s, she returned to California after having lived in Britain and Europe throughout the 1960s, and briefly lived with her close friend, Debbie Reynolds, until she found a little apartment in Beverly Hills. On September 10, 1971, at the age of 39, Angeli was found dead of a barbiturate overdose at her home in Beverly Hills. On the day of her death, Angeli had been given an injection of compazine by her doctor to calm her down. She was unable to sleep and had run out of Doradin, which the doctor refused to give her. Death due to anaphylaxis has been suggested. However, it is not supported by the findings of her autopsy. Her former lover, Kirk Douglas, and his wife, Ann Boydens, were among those who were invited to her funeral. She is interred in Cimetière des Bouviers in Rueil-Malmaison, Hauts-de-Seine, France.
Tanto alla Pierre Angeli. Totò dice assegnazione dei microfoni d'argento. Sandro Ruffini ed Anna Maria Pierre Angeli, oggi e domani dell'arte. Lo Stato Maggiore della...
Number 16, John Belushi, heroin and cocaine. John Belushi's rise to fame was matched only by his rapid fall into addiction. His death at 33 from a speedball overdose was a tragic end to a comic genius. John Belushi, a 33-year-old comedy extraordinaire, died far too soon after a years-long spiral into drug addiction. Filmmaker and close friend Penny Marshall knew about Belushi's drug use all too well, telling The Hollywood Reporter, "I swear, he'd walk down the street with him and people would hand him drugs. And then he'd do all of them, be the kind of character he played in sketches or Animal House." Sadly, almost everyone who knew Belushi well could clearly see his downward spiral in the years that preceded his demise. While the immediate cause of John Belushi's death may have been the speedball combination of cocaine and heroin that he took on that one night in Los Angeles in 1982, the truth is that this tragic end had been a long time in the making. This is the tragic story of the death of John Belushi. The seeds of how John Belushi died were sown very soon after his rise began. Stardom did come with a price, and Belushi began abusing cocaine and other drugs to cope with his insecurities and the long hours that came with working in film and television. His heavy reliance on drugs worsened during the filming of The Blues Brothers. "We had a budget in that movie for cocaine for night shoots," Aykroyd told Vanity Fair in 2012. "John, he just loved what it did. It sort of brought him alive at night. That superpower feeling where you start to talk and converse and figure you can solve all the world's problems."
See if you can guess what I am now. I'm a zit. Get it? All right, you bastard. Let's go right here. Yeah.
Number 15, Eric Douglas, alcohol, painkillers, and tranquilizers. Eric Douglas, son of Hollywood royalty, faced a fatal battle with addiction. His accidental overdose at 46 was a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of substance abuse. the son of movie star Kirk Douglas. Actor and comedian Eric Douglas died of an accidental drug overdose in 2004. He was 46. According to the medical examiner, Douglas had ingested alcohol, painkillers, and tranquilizers. Douglas was found dead in his Manhattan apartment on Tuesday, according to wire service reports. According to the New York Daily News, the 46-year-old's body was discovered by his housekeeper. Police said there appeared to be no sign of foul play, and that an autopsy would be performed to determine the cause of death. Half-brother Michael issued a statement, saying only that the Douglas family is very shocked and saddened by this event. We hope you will respect their privacy at this time. Douglas's movie career, which EW analyzed 11 years ago here, consisted largely of walk-ons, and he hadn't appeared on screen since 1991's Delta Force 3. He was better known for his appearances in tabloid headlines, as he spent years battling drug addiction and weight problems and had numerous run-ins with the law. He was arrested at least 3 times for causing ruckuses on airplanes. In 1997, he pled guilty to drug possession charges after signing for a package full of antidepressant pills in a postal sting operation. A 1999 pill overdose led to an 8-day coma that permanently affected his gait and speech.
You know, at the age of, I don't know, something about 7 or 9, I came to Hollywood with my mother, and I did my first film called Best Foot Forward. And Hollywood for an actor as a kid growing up, I don't know if I would do it again. But Eric Douglas grew up here in Hollywood. Father, Kirk Douglas, come on, the youngest son of the Douglases. How many brothers do you have?
I have 3 brothers.
Right. You have?
I have, well, there's me, and I'm the youngest, right?
Right.
And there's Peter, and Michael, and Joel.
And Joel. Oh, so.
Number 14, Marilyn Monroe. Chloral hydrate, Nembutal. Marilyn Monroe, the ultimate symbol of beauty, fought a losing battle against addiction. Her tragic overdose at 36 left the world mourning a lost icon. Marilyn Monroe was an American actress who became a major sex symbol, starring in a number of commercially successful films during the 1950s, and is considered a pop culture icon. After rising to fame in the 1950s, Marilyn Monroe fatally overdosed on chloral hydrate, Nembutal, and other sedative drugs in 1962. She was 36. Her death was ruled a probable suicide. She had battled depression and other mental health concerns for much of her life. Marilyn Monroe, who often tried without success to shut herself off from the world, early yesterday did so. The 36-year-old actress was found dead in her bed in her Brentwood home, apparently the victim of an overdose of sleeping pills. A telephone receiver dangled from her lifeless hand, and near the bed, police said they picked up an empty bottle that had contained about 50 Nembutal capsules a few days ago. Police last night said that death could have been accidental as well. County Coroner Theodore J. Curfey said he could give a presumptive opinion that death was caused by an overdose of drugs, and late yesterday, tests were begun to determine if the demise was accidental or not. Probably results will not be known until late tomorrow. Miss Monroe, who vaulted into global prominence through cheesecake publicity before her acting ability became recognized in The 7-Year Itch, died alone behind a locked bedroom door only a month after she caused international headlines for failure to work out a commitment in 20th Fox Something's Got to Give. Number 13, River Phoenix, cocaine and heroin. River Phoenix, a rising star in the 90s, succumbed to a deadly mix of drugs. His overdose at 23 shocked Hollywood and his fans worldwide. In the early 90s, River Phoenix was one of the most in-demand young actors in Hollywood. In 1993, Oscar nominee River Phoenix overdosed on cocaine and heroin. He had also ingested marijuana, diazepam, and a stimulant called ephedrine. He was 23. Phoenix's death was ruled a drug overdose by the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office 2 weeks after he collapsed outside of a nightclub. He was pronounced dead at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. The official toxicology report showed that the Stand By Me actor had lethal levels of cocaine and morphine in his system, according to the Los Angeles Times. Scott Carrier, a spokesperson for the coroner's office, said the morphine was believed to be heroin originally, noting that as the body metabolizes heroin, it shows up on drug tests as morphine. Additionally, the test revealed lower levels of Valium, marijuana, and ephedrine present at the time of his death. Family members and friends originally disputed the notion that drugs had been the cause of Phoenix's death. Actress Christine Lady, who worked with Phoenix on Running on Empty, told the Los Angeles Times that he was so adamant about clean, pure living. The actor was a strict vegan who didn't eat meat, dairy, or eggs, or wear any leather products.
At the age of 23, it happened outside the Viper Room, a popular West Hollywood night spot. His friends say Phoenix had been, in the words of one of them, acting strange. When he collapsed, his brother called 911 and mentioned the tranquilizer Valium in his frantic call.
You must get over here, please. You must get over here, please.
Okay, take it easy, okay?
Okay, now I think he had Valium or something. I don't know. You must get over here, please.
Yeah, slow down, okay?
Well, where is the guy?
Okay, we have help on the way, all right?
I know.
Number 12. Margaret Sullivan, barbiturates. Margaret Sullivan, an acclaimed actress, fell victim to a fatal overdose. Her death at 50 was a stark reminder of the deadly grip of addiction. Known for films like The Mortal Storm and The Shop Around the Corner, Margaret Sullivan died of an accidental barbiturate overdose in 1960. She was 50. Margaret Brooks Sullivan was an American stage and film actress. Sullivan started her career on the stage in 1929. In 1933, she caught the attention of movie director John M. Stahl and had her debut on the screen that same year in Only Yesterday. Margaret Sullivan preferred working on the stage and did only 16 movies. She retired from the screen in the early 40s, but returned in 1950 to make her last movie, No Sad Songs for Me, in which she plays a woman who is dying of cancer. For the rest of her career, she would only appear on the stage. Sullivan was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance in The Three Comrades. She died of an overdose of barbiturates on January 1, 1960, at the age of 50. Sullivan was born in Norfolk, Virginia, the daughter of a wealthy stockbroker, Cornelius Sullivan, and his wife, Garland Brooke. The first years of Margaret's childhood were spent isolated from other children. She suffered from a painful muscular weakness in the legs that prevented her from walking, so that she was unable to mingle with other children until the age of 6. After recovery, she emerged as an adventurous and tomboyish child who preferred playing with the children from the poorer neighborhood, much to the regrets of her class-conscious parents.
Sense, it's just another of those biological events. Listen, little southern daughter of an age of chivalry. Today a woman can face life as honestly as a man can. I mean by that, this sort of thing is no longer a tragedy. It isn't even good melodrama. It's just something that's happened.
Number 11. Frank Sinatra, alcohol. Frank Sinatra's smooth voice and suave persona hid a dark secret, a lifelong battle with alcohol addiction. His story is one of Hollywood's most hidden truths. Francis Albert Frank Sinatra was an American singer and actor. His singing career was 60 years long, and more than 250 million records of his have been sold worldwide. Extremely regarded as one of the best and most admired popular singers in the history of American standards. The legendary singer and actor, though always maintaining a polished public image, struggled with alcohol addiction throughout his life. Sinatra's early alcohol use was marked by the celebratory air of his newfound success. The entertainment industry at the time was steeped in a culture where alcohol was a mainstay. It was the era of the Rat Pack, where Sinatra and his fellow icons were often seen with a drink in hand, epitomizing the carefree spirit of the swing era. The bottle became a constant companion for Sinatra, known for his love of Jack Daniels. As Sinatra's biographer, Robin Swan, explained, from the mid-40s on, he was really seriously abusing the booze, and even later in his life, drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels a day. Despite the glossy veneer of the industry, The culture of alcohol often masked a deeper unease, and for Sinatra, the bouts of drinking began to take their toll. Instances of late-night brawls and canceled shows started to mar his professional image. Yet, in these early stages of his career, Sinatra's relationship with alcohol seemed to fuel his legend as much as it forewarned of the struggles to come.
As you know, each week I come to you through the courtesy of my mother and father in Chesterfield. Chesterfield. You start with the grade 8 tobacco, the best that you can get. It's the sound of big pleasure, the sound I'll be making for Chesterfield in this time spot every week. It'll be easy for me because Chesterfield is my brand. It has been for years. No kidding either.
Number 10, Errol Flynn, morphine and alcohol. Errol Flynn, the dashing Hollywood hero, couldn't escape the clutches of addiction. His dependence on morphine and alcohol led to a tragic downfall. Errol Flynn, once the epitome of Hollywood's swashbuckling heroes, faced a tumultuous battle with addiction that drastically altered his career and life. Known for his roles in classics like The Adventures of Robin Hood, Flynn's off-screen life was marred by excess and substance abuse. His drinking habits were legendary, but alcohol wasn't his only vice. Flynn had long experimented with drugs and eventually developed a severe addiction to morphine. By 1959, Flynn's physical condition had deteriorated significantly. Reuniting with his friend and former director Raoul Walsh in Cuba, Flynn was a shadow of his former self. The once handsome idol was now bloated and visibly unwell, a stark contrast to his previous image. "I'm sick, Uncle," he confided in Walsh, a telling sign of his desperation. "My lungs have had it, and the quacks say my liver is shot to hell. So what does it matter where I die?" Flynn's health issues were compounded by years of hard living. His lungs and liver were failing, a result of his chronic alcohol and drug abuse. The actor, who had once captivated audiences worldwide, now facing his own mortality. Flynn's life and career served as a poignant reminder of the destructive power of addiction. He passed away later that year, at the age of 50, leaving behind a legacy tainted by his tragic struggle with substance abuse. Number 9, Elizabeth Taylor, alcohol and drugs. Elizabeth Taylor, Hollywood's queen, fought her own demons behind the scenes. Her journey through rehab became a beacon of hope for many. Elizabeth Taylor almost always seemed to have it all: wealth, privilege, glamour, superstardom, and a lot of men chasing after her. She was also an alcoholic, drug, and food addict. Behind those violet eyes, there was a beast of self-destruction that no amount of money or fame could tame. It cost her relationships, and her health suffered from her abuse. She was the supreme example of how the disease of alcoholism and drug addiction is no respecter of persons, as even the most famous and most photographed woman in the world fell victim to it. Fortunately, Elizabeth Taylor's life didn't end in the horrific throes of alcoholic insanity or an accidental drug overdose. Her life was most likely prolonged by her entering treatment. Taylor's family and close friends intervened on her in the 1980s, and she went to rehab. Her courage to admit that she had an incurable illness that needed medical, psychological, and spiritual attention finally put a face to residential treatment programs. The most famous and photographed face in the world led the way for not only movie stars and rock and rollers, but congressmen, doctors, lawyers, executives, cops, firemen, and housewives to check into drug rehab. As most of us never realized until much later, Elizabeth more than likely had no idea the profound effect her willingness to face her demons in such a public way would have on those suffering in silence.
Please let this one sister have the police system for the city. Don't be such a bully. All right then, I'll pay for it later.
Number 8, Robert Mitchum, marijuana and alcohol. Robert Mitchum's laid-back persona hid a lifetime of marijuana and alcohol use. His relaxed attitude might have helped him survive the turbulent Hollywood lifestyle. He was an enthusiastic marijuana smoker, and his career was placed in jeopardy in 1948 when he was the target of a Los Angeles Police Department sting operation to publicize its latest anti-drugs campaign. An unrepentant Mitchum was jailed for 60 days and featured in lurid headlines across the nation. Mitchum acquired his lifelong taste for marijuana during his youth. Many of the hobos he met would harvest wild cannabis growing along the railroad tracks to make jazz cigarettes. But the actor liked to relax with more than just a joint or two. He was also a keen drinker who enjoyed a beer, vodka, or tequila, but was especially fond of Scotch whiskey. "I don't think I've ordered anything less than a double since I was 15 years old," he told Rolling Stone. For medicinal purposes, of course. Despite his notorious drinking, smoking, and carousing, Robert Mitchum lived to the ripe old age of 79, continuing to work almost to the end of his life. A clue to his longevity might lie in his famously laid-back attitude. Mitch's maxim, "there just isn't pleasing some people. The trick is to stop trying," encapsulates his approach to life. This relaxed perspective perhaps shielded him from the stresses that plagued many of his contemporaries. Mitchum's resilience and enduring career remain a testament to his ability to navigate the tumultuous world of Hollywood with a unique blend of nonchalance and talent.
I read a thing that a woman columnist wrote about you one time, and she said Mitchum was born the kind of man that does not have to seek women because they come to him.
Were that true?
That's not true.
Well, they come to me with their troubles, you know.
Yeah. Is there...
Number 7, Sammy Davis Jr., cocaine and alcohol. Sammy Davis Jr., known for his incredible talent, struggled with addiction that nearly derailed his career. His story is a cautionary tale about fame and its pitfalls. It's not surprising that the mid-1970s marked the heaviest period of Sammy Davis Jr.'s alcohol addiction and drug abuse. During this time, he was also entangled in a much-reported obsession with swinging, pornography, and even a brief dalliance with Satanism. Davis became an increasingly demanding, unreliable, and unstable performer on stage, frequently appearing drunk or stoned and prone to tantrums and mood swings. In 1974, he accepted an invitation from Princess Grace of Monaco to open a new casino in Monte Carlo. However, in a famously dramatic moment, Davis refused to perform in a fit of pique and sailed off on the royal family's yacht instead. This incident highlighted the extent of his struggles, as his addiction issues made him unpredictable and difficult to work with. Davis Jr.'s battle with addiction to cocaine and alcohol had a profound impact on his career and health. His substance abuse led to a decline in his performance quality and reliability, damaging his professional reputation. The toll on his physical health was also significant, as the relentless use of drugs and alcohol deteriorated his once vibrant energy and charisma. Despite his immense talent and groundbreaking contributions to the entertainment industry, Sammy Davis Jr.'s personal demons ultimately overshadowed his professional achievements during this tumultuous period.
Was this something because it seemed to be everybody was doing it and I wanted to be with everybody. But man, to really get a nice buzz, you know, give me a little bourbon, give me a little vodka. I miss booze. See, I don't miss the other stuff, but I miss not drinking. And why did you stop drinking? Because the doctor said you're gonna die.
Number 6, Ava Gardner, alcohol. Hollywood legend Ava Gardner's struggle with alcohol began during her turbulent marriage to Artie Shaw. Her addiction became a pervasive force in her life. The stress of Ava Gardner's turbulent marriage to Artie Shaw took a heavy toll on her, leading to a devastating struggle with alcohol addiction. Married in 1945, their relationship was fraught with challenges, exasperated by Shaw's controlling nature and Gardner's own insecurities. As she attempted to cope with the pressures of being Mrs. Artie Shaw, Gardner increasingly turned to alcohol as a means of escape. Her addiction rapidly escalated, becoming a pervasive force in her life within months of their marriage. The destructive cycle of drinking served as both a refuge from her marital woes and a catalyst for further turmoil. Despite her glamorous exterior and burgeoning career in Hollywood, Gardner's personal battles with alcoholism cast a shadow over her life during this tumultuous period. The couple's marriage unraveled swiftly under the strain, culminating in their divorce just a year after their wedding. For Gardner, the end of her marriage marked not only a personal failure, but also intensified her struggle with addiction. This chapter in her life would shape her future relationships and career, underscoring the profound impact of personal turmoil on even the most celebrated of stars.
You're moving.
Was it you who kissed me?
You're talking. You're alive.
Well, of course I'm alive. What did you think I was?
Number 5, Rita Hayworth, alcohol. Rita Hayworth's stunning beauty couldn't mask the ravages of alcohol addiction. Her life was marred by alcoholism, affecting her career and personal life. Rita Hayworth was an American actress whose career peaked in the 1940s as Columbia Pictures' most lucrative female lead, with a career that included 61 movies over a 37-year span. By the late 1950s, Hayworth's chronic abuse of alcohol had ravaged the beauty of her younger years and had aged her considerably, making her no longer as attractive to Columbia as a leading lady, even though she wasn't 40 years old yet. Alcoholism also created havoc in Hayworth's personal life. She married and divorced 5 times to men who, in their own rights, were not good choices. By the 1970s, when Hayworth was in her mid-50s, the ravages of alcohol abuse began to also affect her brain. From 1972 until her death in 1987, Hayworth's cognitive impairment, memory loss, and repetitive outrageous behavior were what kept her name in the news headlines. Hayworth died in February 1987 at the age of 68. Although she was the first public face of Alzheimer's disease, then a relatively unheard of form of dementia, there is absolutely no doubt that Hayworth also had alcohol-related dementia. Also in 1987, mixed dementias and the many types of dementia were relatively unheard of as well, which probably hastened both her neurological decline and her death. Number 4, Peter Lawford, drugs and alcohol. Peter Lawford, a Rat Pack icon, saw his life spiral due to addiction. His family's struggles with substance abuse highlight the generational impact of addiction. Peter Lawford, a prominent member of the Rat Pack and a once celebrated Hollywood star, faced a tumultuous battle with addiction in his later years. Known for his charm and suave demeanor, Lawford's life took a stark turn as he succumbed to the grips of drug dependency and alcoholism. His descent into addiction not only tarnished his career, but also strained his personal relationships. Lawford's first wife, Patricia Kennedy Lawford, herself struggled with alcoholism for many years, adding to the family's history of substance abuse challenges. Their turbulent marriage was marred by both their personal battles with addiction, creating a volatile environment for their family life. Among Crawford's 4 children, Christopher's journey mirrored his father's struggles. Christopher Lawford battled addiction, but ultimately found redemption in recovery. He spent over 3 decades committed to sobriety, becoming a vocal advocate for addiction treatment and prevention. His advocacy worked to aim to destigmatize addiction and promote understanding and support for those grappling with substance abuse.
Here, meet an old drinking mate of mine, Mr. Peter Lawford.
I've drunk a lot of scotch. I've drunk it with people like Frank, Dean, Sammy. I even had one with the Duke of Wellington.
He's had a few with Flo and me, too.
And it's true that all Scotch whiskey's good. But some are better than others. If you ask me which one I like, I say this one.
A-side Scotch.
Number 3, Veronica Lake, alcohol. Veronica Lake's iconic hairstyle and beauty couldn't save her from addiction. Her tragic death at 50 was the result of a long battle with alcoholism. Veronica Lake, renowned for her captivating beauty and iconic hairstyle, tragically succumbed to the ravages of alcoholism in July 1973. Despite her early success in Hollywood during the 1940s, Lake's career waned as personal struggles with alcoholism intensified over the years. By the early 1950s, Lake's once promising career had faded, overshadowed by erratic behavior and public incidents attributed to her alcohol dependency. Her marriage failures and financial troubles compounded her personal anguish. In June 1973, after returning from a promotional tour in England for her autobiography, Lake sought medical attention in Vermont due to severe stomach pains. The diagnosis was devastating: cirrhosis of the liver, a direct consequence of prolonged alcohol abuse. Her deteriorating health led to a critical hospitalization at the University of Vermont Medical Center in Burlington. Despite efforts to stabilize her condition, Lake's liver damage was irreparable. She passed away on July 7, 1973, succumbing to acute hepatitis and acute kidney injury, complications exacerbated by her long-term alcohol addiction. Lake's death at the age of 50 marked the tragic end of a once glamorous Hollywood career overshadowed by substance abuse. Her memorial service, held at the Universal Chapel in New York City on July 11, 1973.
Okay, Al, if that's how it is.
That's how it is. You messed up my life once. That's enough.
Don't worry. I struggled along without you. I just hope you find what you're looking for.
Number 2, Ray Millan, alcohol. Ray Millan's award-winning career couldn't shield him from alcohol addiction. His role in The Lost Weekend eerily mirrored his real-life struggles. Ray Millan, an Oscar-winning actor renowned for his versatility, faced a profound struggle with alcohol addiction that deeply impacted his personal and professional life. Millan's battle with alcoholism became widely known, exacerbated by the pressures of Hollywood fame and the demanding nature of his career. His addiction progressively worsened, leading to tumultuous periods marked by erratic behavior and health complications. The pinnacle of Millan's exploration of alcoholism came with his iconic portrayal in the 1945 film The Lost Weekend. Directed by Billy Wilder, the film delved unflinchingly into the devastating effects of alcohol addiction, depicting the harrowing descent of a writer, played by Millan, into a weekend-long binge. The role not only showcased Millan's acting prowess, but also provided a stark mirror to his own struggles with alcohol. Off-screen, Millan's battle continued, with periods of sobriety punctuated by relapses. His public acknowledgement of his addiction and efforts to seek treatment reflected a rare openness in an era when such issues were often stigmatized or ignored. Despite his challenges, Millan maintained a successful career, balancing roles that ranged from dramatic intensity to comedic charm. Ray Millan's legacy extends beyond his acting achievements. It includes his courage in confronting and portraying the dark realities of alcoholism.
Nat, weave me another.
Better take it easy.
Oh, don't worry about me. Just let me know when it's 6:45.
Okay.
Come on, Nat. Join me. One little jigger of dreams, huh?
No, thanks.
You don't approve of drinking?
Not the way you drink.
It shrinks my liver, doesn't it, Nat? It pickles my kidneys, yes. But what does it do to my mind? It tosses the sandbags overboard so the balloon can soar.
Number 1, Natalie Wood, alcohol. Natalie Wood's mysterious death at 43 was intertwined with her struggle with alcohol. Her story is a haunting reminder of addiction's devastating impact. The circumstances surrounding Natalie Wood's tragic death in 1981 have long been shadowed by speculation and controversy. Despite initial denials from her husband, Robert Wagner, about an argument on the night of her disappearance, later accounts, including Wagner's own admission in his memoir, Pieces of My Heart, revealed that they did indeed argue before she went missing. Central to understanding Wood's final moments is her struggle with alcoholism, a battle that haunted much of her adult life. Her autopsy revealed a blood alcohol content of 0.14%, significantly above the legal driving limit, along with traces of motion sickness medication and a painkiller. Both substances amplify the effects of alcohol, underscoring the severity of her intoxication that fateful night. Los Angeles County Coroner Thomas Noguchi concluded that Wood's death was a tragic accident caused by drowning and hypothermia. However, the presence of alcohol and medication in her system points to a deeper issue: her ongoing struggle with addiction. Wood's relationship with alcohol was complex and often intertwined with the pressures of fame and personal turmoil. Despite her immense talent and success in Hollywood, she grappled privately with the demons of addiction, a battle that ultimately contributed to her untimely death at the age of 43.
Accepted?
Well, now I felt that you should try to, accept awards that are given you, and they invited me, and I thought it was only polite to come and accept the award.
Thanks for watching. If you found these stories eye-opening, hit the like button, share, and subscribe for more incredible Hollywood tales. Don't forget to check out our other videos for more juicy insights into your favorite stars. See you next time.